I made a video a couple days ago about Luke Bateman and my current thoughts on the traditional publishing industry, along with my experiences in self-publishing. And today I want to talk a little bit more about that self-publishing and what we can learn from the hip-hop industry, specifically as it pertains to mixtapes. For those unfamiliar with what a mixtape is, here is a simple definition that you can pause to read. Almost every rapper that you can think of started by making mixtapes. And it was only after they created these mixtapes and proved themselves to the industry that they were able to sign to a label and produce a studio album, which, unlike mixtapes, is something that is entirely paid for by the label. And I think there is a lot that new writers can learn from this kind of methodology. Instead of seeing self-publishing and traditional publishing as separate entities, we start to see them work together. And we start to look at self-publishing as a mixtape to try to prove to the industry that we are worth investing in. Because similar to mixtapes, self-publishing is something that we can do for fairly cheap. Personally, I've released 2 self-published books and I'm working on a 3rd. And each book had a drastically different budget. My first book, I only invested maybe a couple $100s at most. My current book, I invested about $4,000. While the book I am working on now will end up costing me over $10,000. But the reason I was able to jump from $100 to $10,000 was because of sales. In the same way that a rapper can invest more and more in each mixtape as they get more success. And while I personally haven't been able to make the jump from self-publishing to traditional publishing, there are several authors who have. Andy Weir of The Martian, M.L. Wong of Blood Over Bright Haven, E.L. James of 50 Shades of Grey, Rupi Kaur of Milk and Honey, and several others. And one thing that you will notice is that it works for different genres. But before I say more, I do want to emphasize that I am not telling every new author that they should self-publish. Because in self-publishing, a lot more work is put on the author. And to truly be successful, you need to do a lot more. Like being on social media, making these TikTok videos, YouTube videos, Instagram posts, and all of that. Because there are a lot of resources that a self-publisher is not going to have that traditional publishing would. For example, bookstores. So I'm not saying that this is the route that you need to take. But I am saying if this is something that you are willing to do, that there are other routes out there. And that if it is something you are interested in doing, we don't need to create a whole new roadmap. Because it is a model that hip-hop has been using for decades and we can look there for inspiration. And if you would like to take a deeper dive into this topic, I just posted a much longer video on my YouTube. And if you're interested in any of my work, you can get my book, The Crumbling of a Nation and Other Stories, on the TikTok shop.